The Philadelphia Eagles just traded up to grab Makai Lemon. And everyone's asking the wrong question. It's not, is he good? He is. The question is, why now? And what does this move actually mean for A.J. Brown? Because I've got a theory, and if I'm right, this might be the most important pick of Philly's entire draft. Let's start with the player, because before we get into the drama, you need to understand who they just drafted. Makai Lemon is a legit talent, not a project, not a reach. He's a first round caliber receiver who slipped. He's tough, physical, and he's dangerous after the catch. At USC, he was consistently making defenders miss after contact, not a burner, a fighter with the ball in his hands. He wins with effort and instinct, not just athleticism. Honestly, if this was a vacuum, no fit questions, no roster context, I'd be very pumped about this pick. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Eagles didn't just draft Makai Lemon, they traded up to get him. They gave up 2 fourth-round picks to do it. And here's a detail that tells you everything. Lemon was literally on the phone with the Steelers when the Eagles made the trade with the Cowboys to move up. That's how close they were to losing him. This is Howie Roseman sending a message. We had Lemon circled, we valued him more than where we were picking, and we weren't willing to risk it. That tells you everything about how this front office sees this kid. But it also raises a much bigger question. Here's where I'm torn, and I'll be honest with you. The player is good. The move was aggressive. I respect it. But the fit, I've got real questions. Lemon isn't a big receiver. He's not a traditional X. The Eagles don't need another undersized receiver working the short to intermediate route. They already have Devontae Smith for that, and Smith does it better than almost anyone in the league. So either this is redundant or Howie knows something we don't. And given his track record, I'm not ready to count him out yet. Let me say something that I think is true, and some people are going to push back on it. Devontae Smith is the Eagles' number one receiver. Not because of contract, not because of tenure, because he is more consistent, more reliable, and he might be the best pure route runner on this entire roster. He creates separation when it doesn't look like it's there. He wins when it matters. And quietly, he's one of the most underrated number ones in the entire league. Adding Makai Lemon doesn't change that. If anything, it might crowd Smith out of targets he deserves. So where exactly does Lemon fit in this offense? All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Does this mean A.J. Brown is on his way out? Because I want you to think about this timeline. We've had 2 or 3 months of trade speculation, A.J. Brown unhappy. He doesn't show up to Eagles offseason workouts. They draft a receiver. They trade up for that receiver. You do the math. If A.J. Brown is still an Eagle in week 1, this pick is a head scratcher. If A.J. Brown gets traded, this move suddenly becomes one of the smartest things Howie's ever done. You don't trade up for a receiver unless something bigger might be coming. And right now, I think something bigger is coming. Now, here's the other possibility. This could just be classic Howie Roseman. Drafting value over need, taking the best player available, and trusting he'll figure the rest out. But I have to be honest, this is not always a safe bet. This is the same Howie Roseman who drafted Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in the league, gone because Howie whiffed. Now, last year he drafted Jahad Campbell when they already had Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond. People questioned it, but it's looking like that probably is going to be a great pick. So Howie can get it right drafting for the future over the present. But his track record on receivers specifically, that gives me pause. My final take, I love the talent. I question the fit. I think this pick only fully makes sense one way. A.J. Brown is not on this team in week 1. If that happens, Howie just pulled off one of the smoothest transitions in draft history. If AJ's still here, then Howie overthought it. Drop your prediction in the comments right now. Is AJ Brown an Eagle in week 1? Yes or no? Let's see where the room is.